Good evening. The title of this video is The Litmus Test and the Strategy of the Lotus Sutra versus the Litmus Test for Christianity.
Correct.
And in the first video, mostly with me answering the questions, we will be looking at this idea of conducting a litmus test, and you will be able to do your own litmus test at home.
Yes, correct.
For using the strategy of the Lotus Sutra.
Yes, so correct. So before we begin, right, so basically the litmus test is, see, we are living with full of impurities, correct?
We are.
Okay, so because you are practitioner of Buddhism, so you have to know, or you know how to overcome or how to walk, without being distracted by impurity stuffs.
Correct? Yeah, that's right.
That's
Devilish functions, if
Yes.
you like. Yeah, that's right.
So whether a Christian or Buddhist, we all have to deal with that kind of stuff on daily basis.
We do. So, and the reason, usually speaking, people of different faiths might not do a video together in this fashion. But the reason we're doing this is we want to emphasize the tolerance of religion. In that, it sounds very easy. Oh yes, I can tolerate my friend's belief, and I can understand that they might have a different belief and all that. But we would really like to emphasize this, that instead of starting a battle with your neighbor, let's consider trying to understand the neighbor a little bit more deeply.
So
and
dialogue.
that's why, even though this video isn't about the tolerance of religion, we'd like to emphasize that that's why we're doing this again. And so, litmus test. Now, like, chemically speaking, you're a chemistry major. What is it? Can you give me some example? Well, you are.
Thank you.
What is a litmus test, chemically speaking?
I mean, basically, so it's like you put the kind of tiny, maybe 1 inch or 2 inch piece of taper, right? And then you dump into the let's say I don't know, the solution, right? And then to test is this acidic or basic. Let's go. This is a litmus test.
Right.
So depending coloring, it determines which one is basic or acidic, right? So now under that, so when you get the litmus test sheet, there's a chart. This particular color indicates the pH is 1 or pH 8 or 9 or whatever. So the pH of 7 is the median, a middle, right? So that's the so our so blood or water is somewhere between 6.9 through 7.2. So basically 7. So, and the lower the number is mean acidic.
Yeah.
So like a vinegar, or if we get some samples of gut, that's acidic.
Yeah.
Right. No. Vinegar can be my mistake. Can be basic. Excuse me. So
anyway,
so let's get back to work.
In the test, you try something out and you get a reaction, and then you make a judgment.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So all I'm saying is here in this video, and
religious litmus test, so spirituality litmus test,
and I don't want to sound too arrogant here, but what I'd like to say is that I would like to suggest to you that the best way to see if the Lotus Sutra really works is to test it out. This is quite different to, I think this is a little bit different to some religions where they say, well, here is our religious book, and the rules are written in the book, so you have to follow the book. Well, this is not exactly what we're saying. No, we are saying that by testing out, like the title of the Lotus Sutra is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Okay. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So, by actually chanting these words for a certain period of time, you are conducting a kind of litmus test yourself. Now, there may be various reasons why you want to chant these words. You might want a certain result in your life, or you may wish to improve your circumstances, or you may be chanting about a family member. There's many reasons why you might wish to try out this litmus test. But this Buddhism, or the Buddhism of Nichiren Daishonin, to understand the Lotus Sutra properly, you can't really do it only from an intellectual point of view. So
I see.
It's not something that you can just read about and understand.
Yeah, so don't take it literally. Right?
A lot of people, like one of my good friends who has started chanting, he wants to know all about there is a translation, and I'm going to give that later, but it doesn't work exactly like that. Right. How it works is that you start doing the Daimoku, which is Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and you do the Gongyo, and we are reciting the second and the
what's Gongyo mean?
Okay, Gongyo is a recitation there's 28 chapters in the Lotus Sutra.
I see.
But we are only doing the 2nd and the 16th chapter. And the second chapter is the expedient means chapter, and the 16th chapter is the essential teachings, lifespan of the Buddha. And what happens is, it's kind of strange really, that when you first start, usually most people just start by chanting only Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. And when they start chanting these words, something actually happens. So what I'm trying to say here is, in a sense, the litmus test for the Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, and we're part of the SGO, Soka Gakkai International.
Okay.
It's not a game. It's not a maybe. This is an actual physical and very much vocal thing that you have to try and do. So what I'm suggesting to you is, in order to see if this is true or not, you just have to test it out. Now, there may be certain things that block you, or say, well, I don't want to do that, I'm not sure. But if you just give it a go, and I suggest, for instance, if you take Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and you try that, let's say for 3 minutes each day for 7 days, and as you say those words, focus on what you want to focus on, and just see what happens. Now, that's quite a big thing to say. It's quite different to a lot of religions in a way. A lot of it, you got to do this, you got to study this, you got to... No. All I'm saying is, you just test it scientifically, like a science. You take it like a science, and you just have a go, and see if it works for you. And in most cases, the people who have tried it out suddenly feel, wow, Shinjiranai in Japanese, I can't believe it. Something's happening. This really is true. That's why they call it the mystic law. The mystic law, I'll say that again. And the guy who introduced me, he got, and I had been chanting for about 10 days, and we were in this taxi in Tokyo, and as the back door opens automatically, and I got out, and as he said to me, he said, Rick, this is the mystic law. And I thought, what's he talking about? The mystic law? But then I just kept the chanting going, and I began to feel this mysticism. Okay? And that's what's going to happen to you. If you do this, you will feel it. And so when we say litmus test in Buddhism, it actually means that you give it a test run, if you like. And if you don't like the test run, you can stop. Nobody's saying you have to continue. But what I'm suggesting is that if you give it the test run, you'll probably continue. And that is what I mean by the litmus test. And that's it, basically. And that's all that we have to say at this point in this video.
So it's like a Buddhist version of spiritual exercise.
Yeah.
Is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the second video, which please, we'll talk about the litmus test of Christianity.
Okay.
But for the litmus test of Buddhism, It's a tryout phase, and that is it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.